Any other questions related to this? Okay, Lori, go right ahead.
Yesterday, a senior State Department official told reporters that Iraqi Prime Minister Abadi would disband the Popular Mobilization Forces, yet the deputy commander of those forces, Mahdi al-Muhandis, who was a terrorist involved in the 1983 bombings of the U.S. and French embassies in Kuwait, has vowed not to do so. Do you really believe that Abadi has the will and ability to disband the Popular Mobilization Forces?
First, let me say that Secretary Tillerson in his meetings in Kuwait today spent a little bit of time with Prime Minister Abadi. I can give you a partial readout of that in just a minute if you'd like that. Let me address your question, though, first. We have every confidence in the Prime Minister of Iraq. He has clearly demonstrated not only his leadership, he's demonstrated his capability, his competence, and his ability in our shared fight against ISIS. I just want to be very, very clear about that. The PMF by law are supposed to be under the governance of the Prime Minister of Iraq and falling under the central government of Iraq. There are some what we would call undisciplined PMF forces that aren't always following the rules, and that's a tremendous concern of ours. So we certainly acknowledge that. All armed actors should operate within Iraq's state security framework and answer to the Prime Minister. We hope they will. Okay.
But the senior State Department official in the transcript that you put out said that these forces, they would either be incorporated into the Iraqi army or that they would go home, as if the PMF structures would no longer exist. Do I understand correctly?
I'm not sure. I'd have to dig down further into the details on that, of what my colleague meant by that exactly. Okay, hold on one second. I just want to try to find, Lori, the readout of that. Because the Secretary had quite a few pull-asides. If you all are interested in any specific country, I can certainly provide you that. Okay, so the Secretary actually sat down for a bilat with Prime Minister Abadi, and it's a little lengthy, so let me just read this to you. After participating in the Defeat ISIS Ministerial in Kuwait, Secretary of State Rex Tillerson met with Prime Minister of Iraq. The Secretary congratulated Prime Minister Abadi and the Iraqi people on the retaking of all territory previously held by ISIS and acknowledged their sacrifices in the shared fight against ISIS. The Secretary expressed his support for a unified, democratic, federal, and prosperous Iraq and a stable and viable Iraqi Kurdistan region as part of the Iraqi state. He commended the Prime Minister for his leadership and for its efforts to improve the Baghdad-Erbil relations. The leaders discussed ways to accelerate the critical work of stabilization and help bring millions of displaced Iraqis safely back home. Both recognize that Iraq is at an important juncture in its history. They discussed the U.S.-Iraq relations in the post-ISIS era and the important role that the Strategic Framework Agreement will play to strengthen and deepen our strategic cooperation with Iraq, especially in the areas of trade and finance. Finally, the Secretary conveyed that the Iraq Reconstruction Conference would provide an important opportunity for the government of Iraq to showcase attractive investment opportunities for foreign investors, including many American companies, and to demonstrate, in the Secretary's words, that Iraq is open for business. Okay.